Omobewaji knew deep down in her heart that her life wouldn't end within the dusty confines of her mother's small village. She had always dreamed of a life far beyond its narrow paths, beyond the endless rows of maize and cassava. At 24, she could see her potential clearer than ever, burning inside her like a quiet flame that refused to be smothered. But potential was not enough. It had been 5 long years since she graduated from junior secondary school, and without money to pursue her O-levels. It felt as if her dreams were slipping away like sand between her fingers. Every day was the same. She worked on the farm, carrying heavy bundles of firewood until her back ached. She fetched water from the village stream, cooked delicious meals for her and Mama, all while her mind wandered to a life she had never known, a life she had only dared to imagine. But that night, as she and Mama prepared for bed, the weight of it all became too much to bear. Omobewaji had been holding back her thoughts, her frustrations for so long, but not tonight. Her heart refused to stay silent. Mama, she called softly, hesitating for a moment before speaking further, as though she was testing the air for the right moment. There's something I need to say. I've been thinking about my life, about what I want. Her voice trembled slightly as she continued, unsure how her words would be received. I can't keep living like this, Mama. I'm young now, but time will pass. I don't want to wake up one day and realize my life went nowhere. I don't want to end up on the wrong side of life because I stayed here, trapped by circumstances. Please understand me, Mama. Her mother, whose hands had been busy folding her wrapper, stilled. For a moment, silence filled the small room, broken only by the sound of crickets outside. When Mama turned to look at her daughter, her eyes were filled with a deep sadness that Omobewaji had grown familiar with over the years. Ewa mi, her mother began, her voice soft but heavy with emotion. I know how much you want more from life. I could see it in your eyes every day. But my child, life here in the village is hard. You know how things are. If I could give you more, I would. She let out a deep sigh, the weight of it pressing down on her like a burden too heavy to carry. Mama? Omobewaji's voice was barely above a whisper, a frustration bubbling just beneath the surface. I understand, but... Her mother interrupted. I turned more serious now. Your sister, Omolara, has been calling me frequently. There has been trouble in her marriage. Omobewaji's heart sank. What kind of trouble? The look on her mother's face made Omobewaji's breath catch. It was the kind of expression she had seen before, the kind that came when things were about to take a turn for the worse. She has been crying almost every day, Mama said, her voice shaky. Her marriage is not what it used to be. Those years her husband has started pulling away from her. A knot tightening Omobewaji's stomach. What do you mean? Pulling away? He hardly comes home anymore. And when he does, he's distant. The money he used to send to her, it's been getting smaller and smaller. Mama's eyes clouded over with worry. Your sister, she's terrified. Ewa, she's afraid he's going to leave her. The thought of her strong, confident sister crumbling under the weight of her marriage made Omobewaji feel cold all over. Why would he leave her? I thought Uncle Dozie loved her more than anything. Mama sighed again, this time longer, deeper. It's been 10 years, Ewa. 10 years and there are no children. Dozie is losing patience. His family, the community, everybody, they are starting to whisper. Omobewaji felt a pang in her chest. Her sister had given up so much, her education, her dreams, everything for this marriage because he proposed marriage to her earlier. And now, it was falling apart. Before she could say anything, the piercing sound of Mama's phone ringing filled the air, breaking the uneasy silence. Both women exchanged a glance. Omobewaji's heart pounded as Mama reached for the phone. The screen displayed Omolara's name. Mama, why is she calling so late? Omobewaji asked, a nervous edge creeping into her voice. There was something ominous about it, a feeling she couldn't shake. Mama answered the call, pressing the phone to her ear with a shaky hand. Molara. For a moment, all that could be heard were muffled sobs on the other end of the line. Omobewaji watched as her mother's face tightened with concern, her eyes growing wide with each second that passed. Molara, what is it? Why are you crying like this? Mama's voice was firm, but there was an undertone of panic that Omobewaji didn't miss. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Omolara managed to speak, her voice trembling. Mama, Dozie is seeing another woman. Mama froze, the blood draining from her eyes. What? What are you saying? Omolara's voice broke into another fit of sobs. It's with someone else, Mama. My husband is going after another woman. Omobewaji's heart skipped a bit. She stood frozen, trying to process the word. This couldn't be happening. Not to Omolara, not to the sister who had always seemed to have everything under control. No, why would he do that? Mama asked, her voice growing more frantic. Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure, Molara? Yes. Omolara wailed. My friend saw them. She saw Dozie coming out of the hotel with another woman. And Mama, she looks just like me. She has my same figure, my same height, and she's Yoruba. Mama, you know how Dozie like Yoruba women so much. And Dozie introduced her to my friend that's not doing me. Mama's face paled even more, and she took a shaky step back, her hand trembling as she clutched the phone. But coming out of the hotel doesn't mean they were doing something wrong. Maybe they were just... Mama. Omolara cut her off, her voice rising with desperation. Please don't defend him. Don't try to convince me everything is fine when I know it is not. What if it is true? What if he's cheating on me? I can't have children, Mama. How can I ever compete with that? How do I stop him from leaving me? The silence that followed was thick, almost suffocating. Omobewaji could feel the tension filling the room like a storm about to break. Mama finally found her voice, though it was barely more than a whisper. We'll find a way to fix this, Molara. Don't give up hope. God will give you children. Have you finished drinking the herbs that I sent? Omolara's next words were so faint that Omobewaji had to strain to hear. Mama, Dozie isn't even home anymore to do anything. He told me once that he was tired of firing without scoring. He said it like a joke, but I know it wasn't, Mama. I sacrificed everything for this marriage. 10 years. 10 years without a single pregnancy, not even a miscarriage. I can't lose him, so I can't be left with nothing. I can't lose at both ends. Omobewaji's blood ran cold as she listened. The weight of her sister's words settled heavily in her chest. Then, as if the air itself had been sucked out of the room, Omolara's voice came again. This time, calm. So calm. Mama, I know what has to be done. Mama's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Omolara's tone was hairy, resolved. Omobewaji has to come to Port Harcourt. She has to help me fix this. Mama blinked, confused. What do you mean, help you? How? There was a pause, a long, dreadful pause. You know what I'm asking, Mama? I can't let some strange woman steal my husband when I have a sister who can help me. Omobewaji has to come. She has to help save my marriage. Mama's face twisted in horror as the realization dawned. No, Molara, you can't be suggesting. Mama, I don't care anymore. Omolara's voice cracked, filled with raw desperation. I need a child. If Omobewaji carries Dozie's child, it will be like mine. It will save my marriage. Mama's hands trembled as she gripped the phone. Her knuckles white against the plastic. Molara, do you even understand what you were asking? This is not something you can talk about lightly. Omobewaji is your sister. Could you even think of such a thing? The desperation in Omolara's voice only grew stronger. Our words now a mix of soaps and horrid breaths. Mama, you don't understand. I've thought about it over and over again. There is no other way. I've prayed. I've begged God to show me a sign, to send me a miracle, but nothing is happening. Dozie is slipping away from me. He's my husband, Mama. I can't just watch my life fall apart because I can't give him a child. Mama, please. I know it sounds wrong, but if Bewaji helps us, Dozie will stay. He will never know the difference. He will see the child as hers, as my own. Mama couldn't find her voice. It was as if the weight of Omolara's voice had pressed down her chest, making it impossible to breathe. This wasn't the kind of conversation a mother was expected to have with her daughter. How are things gotten so desperate? She took a shaky breath, trying to regain her composure. Molara, you are not thinking straight. You are letting fear control you. This thing you're suggesting is madness. But Molara was relentless. Mama, what am I supposed to do? Tell me, what would you do if you were in my shoes? Would you just sit and watch your husband walk away from you? Watch another woman take over your home? I have nothing left. Mama, I'm already at the edge. Please. If Bewaji helps, it will save everything. There was a moment of tense silence on the line. The kind that feels like a slow unraveling. Mama wanted to scream, to shake some sense into her eldest daughter, but she couldn't. The exhaustion in Molara's voice, the raw pain she could hear, made her realize just how broken her child was. She knew Molara wasn't asking this out of malice. It was pure, desperate survival. Molara swallowed the lump in her throat. Her voice was barely audible when she spoke again. I can't promise you anything. I'll talk to her, but this is not right, Molara. It's not God's way. I know, Mama. Molara whispered, the fight leaving her voice. I know, but I'm scared. I'm so scared. Mama said nothing more as she ended the call. Her hand hovering over the phone for a few moments, longer than necessary. The room felt smaller now, as if the weight of everything that had just transpired was pressing down on her, suffocating the air. She turned to look at Bewaji, who had been watching her intently, her eyes wide with curiosity and a growing sense of dread. What did Sister Molara say, Mama? She asked, her voice filled with concern. Mama opened her mouth to speak, but no words came. How could she explain this? How could she put into words the unthinkable request that has just been made? Her youngest daughter, her sweetheart Konke, had no idea what storm was about to descend upon her. Ewani, Mama began, her voice hoarse and trembling. She took a seat on the edge of the bed, wringing her hands as she tried to gather her thoughts. What your sister is going through, it's more serious than we thought. Omobewaji leaned forward, her face etched with worry. Mama, you are scaring me. What's happening? Mama's eyes filled with tears as she looked at her daughter. How could she ask this? How could she even begin to say the words? She took a deep breath, the sound shaky and uneven. Molara, she's afraid she's going to lose Dozie. She says he's seeing another woman. She is desperate. Ewa. She thinks if she doesn't give him a child, he's going to leave her. Omobewaji's heart dropped, her mind racing. But what's not going to happen? Mama looked away, unable to meet her daughter's eyes. She wants you to come to Port Harcourt. Omobewaji blinked, confused. To do what? Mama wiped her eyes, her voice barely more than a whisper. To help her have a child. There was a long, heavy pause. As the meaning of Mama's words began to sink in, Omobewaji stared at her mother, not fully understanding. Help her? How? What are you saying, Mama? Mama's face crumpled with emotion, tears streaming down her cheeks as she finally forced the words out. She wants you to go and be with her husband. She thinks if you have a child with Dozie, it will save her marriage. Omobewaji froze. For a moment, time seemed to stand still, her mind unable to process what she had just heard. The room spun around. Her heart beat loud in her ears. Mama? Her voice was barely audible, her throat tightening with disbelief. What did you just say? Mama's head dropped, her hands shaking in her lap. She wants you to give her your child back, okay? Omobewaji's breath caught in her throat, her eyes wide with shock. What? The word burst from her like an explosion, her voice trembling with a mix of outrage and disbelief. She stood up, her chest rising and falling as the weight of the request settled in. I can't believe this. How could you ask me that? How could she ask me that? How could you even consider it? Mama, this is wrong. Our words stumbled over each other, her mind racing, unable to form a coherent thought. Mama sobbed, clutching her wrapper tightly. I know, my daughter. I know it's wrong, but your sister, she's desperate. She's broken. I don't know what to do. She needs your help. She needs our help. I don't even know. Omobewaji felt the ground slipping from beneath her. This couldn't be real. Her sister, the one who had always been her rock, was asking her to destroy her own life to become something she could never imagine being. Mama, I can't. I won't. Her voice wavered, tears welling in her eyes as she fought back the overwhelming emotions swirling inside her. I can't betray myself like that. I can't betray God. I can't betray her. She don't think this is an option. Mama's voice was barely more than a whisper, broken and defeated. She thinks it's the only way. She says she will pay you well. Pay me? Omobewaji cried, anger flaring. This isn't about money. This is about my life, my dignity, my soul. I'm not for sale. Mama, I won't be a part of this. No, not for any amount. The room fell silent. Omobewaji stood trembling, her mind a whirlwind of anger, confusion and heartbreak. She couldn't believe what she was hearing, what her own sister was asking of her. Finally, she turned to her mother, her voice low and steady, though her tears betrayed the storm inside her. Tell Sister Molara, tell her I love her, but I'm not going to Port Harcourt. Not like this. Mama could only know the weight of the situation crushing her as she watched her daughter walk out of the room, her heart breaking for both of her girls.